Good evening. Welcome to tonight's webinar hosted by Oxlip. Okay, we've just got a few people who are probably still logging in at the moment, so we're going to give a few minutes just to allow that to happen. We're all sort of getting used to that by now, haven't we? We've been on so many webinars in the last 12 months that we get used to just the preamble at the beginning. And so let's see, people are just coming in. As you join tonight, why not just drop your name, let me know where you're watching from tonight. It'd be nice to sort of get to know a few people throughout this. It won't be a big crowd tonight. We're doing this one under the banner of Oxlip tonight. We've done a whole series of webinars for them over the last, we've been working with Oxlip for probably over 2 years now. But obviously over the last 12 months, everything's been webinars. And so it's been a pleasure to bring various topics to help people build their businesses. And tonight we're going to be looking at how to sell and fill your event. And I'm going to approach it from a slightly different angle, not from the traditional straightforward way, and look at some various tips and things that you can do, look at the mindset a little bit behind events and really, dig in a little bit deeper. I get that everybody sort of understands the basics of how to put an event together and how to market it a little bit. So I just want to put some, just some ideas, some fresh perspective maybe on what you can do tonight. Hi Libby, nice to have you with us. Libby, what do you do? Do you run events regularly? Or are you just looking to start? It'd be very great to know, and then I can help you pitch things in for you. How many people? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people joined us so far. Let's just give a couple of minutes as people come in. As I said, if you've just joined, please drop a message in the chat, introduce yourself, let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get underway in just a minute or so as people are just joining. So tonight in the chat you might see a gentleman popping up. You're absolutely honoured people tonight because our Vice President of Europe, Middle East and Africa is actually sitting on the chat tonight. So it's going to be really good to have him. So please say hello. His name is Vasco. His name won't appear, but hey, let's give him some recognition. Excellent. Okay. So I think most people have logged in and are now with us. So I'm going to make a start tonight and we'll start going through the slides and I'm going to introduce this whole topic to you. Hi, Adrienne, based in Chippy. Is that Chippenham? I'm assuming. I'm not local to that area. Libby, help on social media with promoting events. Great, have some advice. Yeah, we'll get to that, Libby, definitely. Oh, and there you go. Mr. Vasco has showed up as himself tonight, so you are all honoured people. Hi, Jesus, from Thame. Yeah, I've been through Thame a few times while we've been doing events. So let me get started. So the event tonight is called How to Sell and Fill Your Event. So my name, just to introduce myself, I'm Terry Heath. I'm Managing Director here at Maverick. And as I mentioned earlier, maybe some people missed that, we've been working with Oxlip for quite some time now. And in the last 12 months, we've been hosting weekly webinars just to help businesses in all aspects of sales and marketing, content, events like tonight, and lots of other topics. And so if you're new to Oxlip, I recommend going to their website, go and check out the free events that are available to you. There's great resources and really get plugged in and connected. It will help you, I can guarantee. So why should you listen to me? My wife asks me that all the time. But why should you listen to me? Well, as a company, as Maverick, we host weekly online events that attract up to 3,000 registrations. So we've got a lot of experience in this area. In 2019, you remember that time? Pre-COVID, yes. We held over 50 events across the UK and in Europe. And actually, we did one further afield in the US as well, which we didn't include on there. We've trained over 150 people have gone through our training. 150,000 people have gone through our training. And we've had the pleasure of working with global media and with live events for over 20 years. So we've got a lot of experience behind me. Myself personally, I have been in the events industry and with global events for probably over 25 years myself. Okay, what you've got on screen there, I just want to evidence you know, this is just a throwaway, that what I talk about tonight isn't me giving you a lot of theory. This is what we do day in and day out. What you see at the back there is a screenshot from my emails just this morning of tickets that are coming in on Eventbrite on a regular basis. And up front there is a smaller screenshot just of events from 2020 that we did, which shows you the sort of numbers that we're going. So I'm not making this up. This is actually real. It is genuine. And so I want to share with you tonight some of the things that we have learned along our journey that I hope will help you. So the big overarching thing that I want to say is to get more signups, your ideal clients need to believe that your event can solve their problem. It can help them solve their problem. I'll say that again. To get more signups, your ideal clients need to believe that your event can help them solve their problem. If you do that, you will win. Guaranteed. People who need the solutions then and you're offering them will come to your events as long as it's marketed properly. So tonight, these are the things that I'm going to cover. You need to have one big goal for your event. You need to have 4 whys for your attendees. Think world domination. I'll explain what I mean by that. Use big gun content. And again, a term you might not be familiar with, but I'll explain that. And curiosity creates signups. I'll cover that as well. And we'll finish with just some brief tips for success on your events. Okay, so the one big goal for your event. Quite simply, don't put on an event like this, like a webinar, get yourself online and try and deliver so much material in one go, you just cloud what it is that you're trying to achieve, that one thing. So for an example, here at Maverick, we have multitude of products and services and programs that we can offer. So if I was to come on here tonight and I was to say to you, hey, we've got this great thing called Velocity, we've got this thing called Accelerator, we've got this thing called Momentum you can get involved in, we've got our basic LinkedIn training as well, we do coaching and we do strategy. I'm pushing too much in one go. So what we've actually been doing for quite some time now is we take each one individually and that is a separate event in itself. So tonight I'll be talking just about events. Events is only just one small aspect of what we do as a business. So I'm going to focus on that tonight and deliver that one thing. One of the mistakes I see in a lot of events that I jump into, in and out of, see what other people are doing, I'm looking to learn all the time as well, is that I get onto an event and somebody starts on one topic and ends up on a totally different one. And I get a little bit confused as what was this webinar actually about? Was it topic 1 or topic 2? I'm not quite sure now. And it's almost like I only got 50% of that. Then they switch gear into something else. And so what you need to do is stay focused, have one goal that you want to do. So tonight, my one goal is to help you understand how to sell and fill your events. That's simple. That's my goal tonight. So have 4 whys for your attendees. What do I mean by that? When somebody reads the copy about your event, when they come and look at the material that is out there or the posts that you're putting out on social media, what is it telling them? What are the whys that they should attend? You need to clearly label, clearly put out there what it is that you will deliver that convinces them to come. Tell them the why. It's no good just telling them how good you are or how good a service or a product is, because until you tell them why, there isn't a reason for them to attend. All you've done is told them how good you are at what you do. That doesn't mean anything to them until you tell them why. You start to deal with their problems, their issues that they've got, their pain points that they're dealing with, and you say, right, okay, now let's go in. So let me give you an example of that. Here's one that we use. These are the 4 whys on a webinar that we do called Create Content That Converts. Now, as you'll see, it's clearly setting out throughout this session we will tackle. Now, this is in the copy for the event as somebody reads it as they are deciding whether to come or not. What will we do? We're creating your content and how to make an impact. How to write copy that sells. How to separate yourself from the crowd, and leveraging pain points to create compelling proposition. Those are the things that we're going to focus on in the webinar. So they know what it is. Now, if those points address the issues, address the problems they have, I've got them. they will sign up, they will come along and find out more. Now, at no point yet have I told them how I'm going to do that. What is the methodology? What is the theory behind it? What are the practices that you need to do? I've not told them anything of that. I've just told them what I'm going to do. I'm answering why should you come along? Those 4 points are pointing to the why that you should come along. Now, not every event addresses a problem, yet every successful event does. I've been to so many events where it's just a delivery of information. It's not dealing with an issue or a problem that a person or a business may have. The moment that you start to address an issue, a problem, or what we commonly call the pain points, you start to speak somebody's language. You start to get into their world a little bit, and they start to identify back with you. So let me give you an illustration of what I mean by that. Now, if you've ever been on any of our webinars, you've probably heard this illustration before. But if I've got toothache, you know, that really nagging toothache that wakes you up in the middle of the night in total agony, and I have 2 dentists that come to me. Dentist number 1 says, come to me. We're part of a national chain. We have beautiful surgery. It's all kitted out with all of these resources. We've got orthopedic chairs that'll even massage you while I'm taking that tooth out. Sounds wonderful. Why wouldn't you go? But then dentist number 2 comes and says, does that really hurt? It's throbbing, isn't it? Yeah, it's really throbbing. Does it feel like your head is just pounding? And yes, absolutely. If I told you in the next hour I could get you booked in and get that problem solved, would you come into my surgery? Guess which dentist I'm going to see. B. Number 2. I'm going to see him because he identified with me. I know he's talking my language. He identified with it. He understands it. I will sit in his chair. I don't even know what his dentist looks like. He might not have orthopedic chairs and massage. I don't care, because the problem I want solved is that tooth out and that pain gone. That's what I'm after. So when you get onto a webinar that starts speaking that sort of language and pain, you draw your audience in. And now you're speaking their language, they stay with you and they'll identify with you, and then they're waiting for you to present the solution. So make sure that your event addresses a problem. Don't just do it for vanity's sake. Address a problem, address an issue, give people something they can walk away with at the end of the event. If your event doesn't address a problem, registration is going to be optional. It's as simple as that. Why would they come to your event if it's not going to address an issue, a problem, a pain point? It becomes optional for them. Now, if you are addressing, as I've already said, then it becomes an easy decision for them to, okay, I'm booking into this to see if I can learn something that helps me in this area or this area. Now, I mentioned earlier that you must think world domination. Sounds big, doesn't it? What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is you must believe that you are going to deliver something that will change people, that will change what they're doing. You can solve their problems. You're going after it. You're the best. You've got to believe in yourself and what you're doing, because when you're communicating on camera, when you're in front of your laptop, or however you're delivering your events at the moment, people need to believe in you. So you've got to have that mentality of, hey, we're the best, we're going for this world domination. The other thing is, if you do not believe in your event, then when it comes into, and I will not sugarcoat this at all, the hard work of getting people to your event, then you won't put the effort in. It's that simple, because you must not underestimate the work needed to get sign-ups. Remember, you need these people on your events. So doing a webinar like this tonight, we do these week in and week out as Maverick. Tonight we're here as Oxley, but as Maverick we are working so hard to get people on events, and that's why we get people and attendees in the numbers that we do, up to 3,000. You've got to put the work in. I'll talk a little bit later how you can do that, how you can get those sign-ups. Now, you've got to remember as well, not everybody sees everything that you do. So you need to repeat, repeat, and repeat. We've got examples of when we've done email campaigns for events where somebody has received not 5, not 6, not 7, not 10, not 12, not just 20 emails about our events, but 30 or 40 before they decide. You are part of a crowded market. Why should people come to your event? Sometimes people need to see you over and over again, learn a little bit more about you, begin to have confidence that you can deliver what you say, then they choose to come along. So in the examples with our email marketing, sometimes people will have received the email 30 plus times, and then on that occasion. There's also the consideration that your emails or your social media messages or however you're marketing your event doesn't land at the right time for a certain individual. So the repetition means they keep seeing you, they see your name, they see your company, they see the events that you're doing. When the time is right, when they need you, then they respond. And that's how it works. So you've got to have that repetition. Now, one of the things that we have found out is if you're putting on free events, then you need to reach 100 people to get one sign up. 100 people gets one sign up if the event is free. If it's a paid event, it scales up even bigger. That you need to be hitting 1,000 people with your messaging to get one paid sign up. So 100 to get one if it's free, 1,000 to get one if it's paid. And that's just the rough. Now we've been doing this for 3 years now, and that has borne out time and time and time and time again. So you have to put the effort in. There's no good creating an event. Let's say you create an event on a platform, our favorite platform is LinkedIn, and you put your event up there and just expect people to find you and sign up for your event. It's not going to happen. You need to push and promote that. If I get time, I'll even go into LinkedIn and show you how that works. So now it's the big gun content. Now we're going to move into talking about the messaging that you put around. So remember, when you're marketing your event, you're part of a crowded market. So why should somebody stop and look at yours? Why should somebody even consider having a look at your event? It's got to stand out from the crowd. You've got to make a noise so that people will notice. Now, we know from experience that there's effectively 4 stages for people in their decision-making process. So first one is problem. They realize they have a problem. If you're dealing with an aspect of business, an issue, a challenge, a problem, a pain point, whatever it is, if they haven't realized they've got that problem, they're not even interested in coming. But their decision start process is, okay, we've got a problem in our business. Let's say it's sales are down. We're not hitting our sales targets. We've got a problem. We need help. The outcome. People see outcomes around them. Why is this company succeeding when we're not? It's almost like that envy starts to kick in, and it motivates people to, right, okay, there's a solution that exists because company A, B, and C are able to do it, or individual A, B, and C is able to do it. Why are we struggling? We need to find it. Then comes the decision stage that says, okay, let us find the answer. And they go looking for it, and they make that decision to respond to their issue, their pain point, whatever it is. Then comes the solution. Now that's when you're positioned to present yourself. And this is why you've got to be repetitive in marketing your events, is because you will hit that point when they get along that journey that says, okay, we now need a solution. We know from experience that 85% of people will engage with or purchase from the person who presented the solution to the problem, the first person who presented the solution to the problem. 85% of people will engage or buy from the first person who presented the solution. So you want to be there. You want to be the first. You want to be present. You need to be repetitive. So put the work into your invites. Don't just put an event up there and leave it expecting people to come and sign up when you're going, why isn't anybody coming to our event? Because nobody knows you exist. You've got to do the work. So curiosity creates signups. Curiosity creates signups. Now, when there's an example on screen there of one of the posts that we put up for our events. This one of these quite recently. And this was selling on LinkedIn. Simple. We kept there's no waffle. We're not being generic. We're standing out. We have graphics. All of our graphics for our events look quite similar, so it all ties in to our branding. We always put the image of the speaker on there so it relates and people can see there's a human being behind this. It's not just imagery and a bunch of text. And the title of the webinar will be obvious. It's what we call, it does what it says on the tin. We're going to teach you how to sell on LinkedIn. That's what was happening in that event. Now, the wording that we'll use in there, we do not go on and on and on and on and on and on about it. We don't waffle. We get to the point. It's bullet points. It's set out. If anybody's ever been on any of our LinkedIn courses or wants to find out more, go and check out the Maverick channel and look at some of the LinkedIn. You'll understand what I mean by how you set out a post and how you structure it in such a way that it delivers the information quickly, makes it easy for the individual to digest and read that information, and delivers bullet points that hit the mark. And so go and check that out. But you need to do that. So don't waffle, don't be generic. You need to stand out from the crowd. Make sure that the branding and imagery around your event really says something. I see so many events that just have images that are being pulled off platforms. You know, they're just stock images. They stand out a mile. Do something original. Have it yourself. It doesn't take too much effort to put a graphic together. You might, okay, the example on screen, you might say, well, that's beyond my talents to do that. But you don't need to be that detailed or that clever. You just need something that's unique to you, not just another generic stock image with your company name across the top of it. That won't work. You need to stand out. Use bright colors if you can. If that's in your company branding or with your events, use the bright colors to your advantage. Let it stand out. Remember, if you're on LinkedIn, there's just a list of events, one after another or another. The name needs to catch the eye, and so does the imagery. The name and the imagery. So make sure your name says what it does on the tin, and your imagery communicates that and stands out. And that will help you. Be clear about the problem and the outcome. So when you're writing the copy for your events, when you're talking about what will be contained in the webinar, make sure that you talk about the problems that you will address and the outcomes that they can expect. So I'm talking about to you and saying the problems that you probably have is we're running events, but we're not getting enough people signing up. I hope by the end of this, you will have understood some of the principles that will help you to get the signups that you need. And hopefully we're going to talk about the journey that gets you there. That last point though, it does what it says on the tin, is very important. Now, if we're doing an event like this, it's 60 minutes long. There's a lot I could talk about. There's a lot I could bring into this, but it would be very rushed. It would be very hurried. But I've got to give something that says, does what it says on the tin. And so we've named it purposely, and we will hopefully deliver that for you tonight. You'll be the judge by the end of this. Okay, some tips for success. Now, I've got a few slides that I want to go through. Then I want to be really practical, and I want to show you LinkedIn. And the reason I want to do that is because LinkedIn events has been around for a little while now. LinkedIn has really ramped up their event side on the platform. And we used to, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but we used to push everything through Eventbrite. Everything, 100% of our registrations used to come through Eventbrite. Now, only a third of our registrations come through Eventbrite. 2/3 come through LinkedIn events. And I'll show you why that is. So, tips for success. Okay, what's on screen there is just a sample. This is a document that we use, and it just helps us to map out the event itself. So we start with the event name. If there's a price to it, it's on there. So we communicate around our whole team. Everybody understands. So wherever it goes on whatever social media channel, it's up on the events platforms like Eventbrite. Everybody knows what that is. We then will even go into who is this for? See, understanding your audience will help you tailor your events. So I know if I'm delivering for IT technicians or IT people who sell in the software world, the webinar will be slightly different than if I was addressing, let's say, accountants. Very different. So I've got to know my audience. I've got to know who it is. Tonight we're talking to people, our audience tonight is people in Oxfordshire because it's an Oxlep event. So it's a little broader than we normally would go talk to. And so know who it is, who the event is for, know who you're going to speak to and who you want to target. If you are using LinkedIn, then using packages like the Sales Navigator platform will help you really target in and find the individuals you think should be on. You start connecting with them and inviting them to your events. It's a very effective platform. Your event strapline. What's that one sentence that sums up what the webinar is about, that tells the individual, what is it I'm going to learn? What will I walk away with? So have that strapline. The 4 whys that we mentioned earlier. Now, what I didn't mention is why 4 whys? Purely from our experience. 3 didn't seem to work. 5 and 6 and above just seemed too many. We settled on 4. Doesn't sound very scientific, but we've stuck with this now for over 2 years. Occasionally we have 5 and 6 where it merits it, but we look for the 4 whys. The 4 whys you should come to this event. 4 whys of this is what you're going to get by coming to this event. And we make sure we have them. And we spend some time thinking about the things that we're going to deliver and what people will walk away with. Then there's the big goal. The big goal. Now, I talked about that at the beginning. Then we'll have a 1-paragraph explainer. So, expanding on the strapline now into a paragraph. We will put that in a little bit more detail, fill it out a little bit more, give people enough information for them to make the decision, yes, I want to register and come along to this event. Then there'll be the full description. So now we start to bullet point. These are the topics we're going to cover. These are the things that we will address in the webinar. These are the reasons why you should come along. These are the results and the outcomes that we have seen from people who've been to this type of event previously. Give them all of that evidence in the full description. Just be careful not to make it war and peace, because there is a point where people will read to a certain point and then they just give up if it keeps going and going and going. Be succinct, be direct about what you want to say and what you want to deliver. At the bottom there is a bunch of checklists. We have found over the time, if you're running events, you've got to have your checklist. You've got to know what you've done, and we've made all the obvious mistakes and slip-ups over time. Just like probably you have as well. And so you need to have a checklist and just tick off when you've done things. You'll know if you're doing events that there are certain things that need to happen in certain orders, certain things that have to be in place at certain dates. As you run up, you'll understand about your lead times for events and all these different things. These are the obvious things, but sometimes they get missed. Sometimes if it's not communicated, then you run into trouble. So have your checklist, make sure it's there, and you won't miss anything. We've done it before. Excuse me, just getting a drink there, mate. Okay, my team's communicating something there to me that I haven't forgotten, honestly, guys. We've made those mistakes when you forget something or you're doing an event, and just because someone didn't hear, we forgot to advertise it and market it on Facebook or Instagram or other places that we've been. They're obvious mistakes, but if we don't have the checklist, if someone hasn't ticked that box, the question is asked, is it up on Facebook yet? Is it up on Eventbrite? Are there all the links to watch it ready to go? All the different elements. So if that would help you, if that document would help you, email us. Simply email us. We'll happily share that with you. It's a starting point, I know, for a lot of people, but it will get you on the right track if you haven't got a document like that at the moment. Email us at hi@maverick, be careful how you spell maverick.co.uk, and you'll see that on the screen at the moment. And we'll happily share that with you. So, another tips as well is we find there are 3 key platforms for events. Now, you go looking out there, there's numerous platforms, and we've had a look at so many different ones, and we're always being contacted by people who are marketing their new platform. And you've probably seen all the ones that I've seen in the past. But we find that LinkedIn, Facebook, and Eventbrite, the 3 most effective platforms to market our events on. LinkedIn by far is the standout one right now, and I'm going to demonstrate that in just a minute. Facebook is really good. Now, obviously between LinkedIn and Facebook, it can depend upon the audience that you're trying to reach, which platform is more effective than the other. And then Eventbrite. Eventbrite is great. It's a good, simple platform to putting up there. And Eventbrite, of course, themselves are pushing and promoting. People are searching for events, and you appear in the listings there as well. So it adds into the marketing for your event to be a part of the conversation when somebody's looking for a particular event or in their particular area or on a particular subject and topic. So use a public event hosting platform like LinkedIn, like Eventbrite. Get your event out, get it marketed, and get pushing it. Get people invited to it. On Eventbrite, if you've used Eventbrite, you'll know that you can invite up to 2,000 people via email every single day on Eventbrite. It's a good platform for doing that. There are similar platforms, but we find Eventbrite is the most effective. For LinkedIn, you've got 1,000 invites per week per individual. So if somebody comes to your event, and I'll demonstrate this in a minute, if they come to your LinkedIn event or they register for your LinkedIn event, that individual can then invite other people to the event. And it's very simple. And because it's hosted, the whole event is marketed on the platform, you've got access to all the different people's networks as well. So if you're part of a company with multiple employees who are present on LinkedIn, just for example here at Maverick, we've got a team of 4 people who are dedicated to pushing and promoting our events, and they're putting out 1,000 invites per week each. So that's 4,000 just in those 4 employees. 4,000 invites going out for one event each week. So this is why we can hit our numbers, and we've got other staff members that do this as well. So it's a very effective way of reaching people with your event and inviting them along to it. You only need name and email. This is one of the common things that we see on events. People come to sign up and there's just long forms that they have to complete and tick boxes, and everybody wants your name, your address, your telephone number, your home number, your email address, the inside leg measurement, and it goes on and on and on. They want to know the size of your company and how many employees. Look, make it simple. The aim from your events is to create an opportunity for a conversation that will come after the event. So make it easy. First name and email address is all that you need. LinkedIn is perfect for that. And then once your event is over, you then follow up by emailing all the individuals. You might offer them a replay of the event. You offer them the opportunity to get in touch and receive more information about that topic that you addressed. You could offer them the opportunity to have an introduction call or a discovery call, and then you get into conversation. But you can have that. Don't make it complicated for people to come to your event, particularly for free events. If people come along and find out that they've just got to give so much information over for a free event, they just don't do it. They'll turn away and go somewhere else. Remember, there are other events, so make yours easy to access. Use custom tracking links so that you can see what works. Eventbrite has the custom tracking links. You can use them. You can get it all done. You can get your Google Analytics going and really look into who's signing up, who's coming, from what industries are they coming from, what areas geographically are they coming from. You get that information, you see what works. So if you're doing email marketing particularly, who are the audiences that you are addressing? What are the lists that you may have that contain the ideal clients and prospects that you would like to invite to this event? Get that information so that you can be cleverer with your invitations. Just don't make it scattergun approach all the time. Be more targeted in who you want to come. Know who your target audience is and go after them. Don't use paid ads. Now this is a common one. Don't use paid ads until you know your event is performing. It is pointless throwing money at an event that is not getting signups. Wait until you've fixed whatever it is and you start getting that first few signups, it starts picking up a little bit of momentum, then add your paid ads in. Because now you know you've got something that works, that when people come and land on it, they see your landing page for your event, whether it be on Eventbrite, on LinkedIn or any other platform, that the wording is right, the imagery is right, people are connecting and getting involved with it. At that point, then you start your paid advertising. Don't go throwing good money after something that doesn't work. Use your 3 to 5 whys. I put 3 to 5 whys in, you're being generous. It should actually be 4 or more. And your big gun content. So when you're writing your posts in social media to promote your event, remember those pain points. Remember those issues, what are the whys that someone would come, and use them in your posting. I see too many events promoted. Hey, come along to our event on Wednesday at 7 p.m. We'll be addressing this topic. And that's it. They don't say or break it down into what are the pain points that you will address, what are the problems, the challenges that people face that you will be addressing in your event. Let them know, educate them a little bit about who you are as well, and get them into the place where they're going down that journey of deciding to come to your event. Okay, get your event listed on LinkedIn events and Facebook events, and get inviting people. Once their events are up there, then start just pushing out the invites. Keep pushing out the invites. Right up until the last minute, keep pushing out the invites. We normally see with our events, we've seen this, which is the last couple of days before the events, there's normally a rush of activity, and there's a real push of registrations that come in the last 48 hours before an event happens. So it's worth pushing right up almost until the event itself. Never be more than 48 hours away from a promotion. As I said there, we see that activity come in that last couple of days. So don't let it go much more than 48 hours before there's another message, another social media post out there, another email campaign that's gone out. If you want to fill your event, you've got to do the work and keep pushing out and pushing out. And track your sign-ups using conversion tracking for future marketing. So when you come to do the event again, you take lessons you learned from event 1 into event 2. You learn the lessons and you take it on, and you get a little bit better and a little bit better. I'll be honest, when we first started, our first webinars that we started, we would get 20 or 30 people registering. We quickly learned the lessons. We quickly looked at the analytics. Where are the people coming from? What are the industries that are interested in this topic or this topic or this topic? Now we know who we're targeting. Now we know who we're going after. Where's our target audience at? Where are the connections that we need to make to then invite them? And this is what we did. And we built it up until the point now that we've been probably throughout 2020 and still into 2021 are hitting really big numbers on webinars every single week. Every single week. We're talking into the hundreds, if not the thousands, of people coming along to our webinars all the time. Libby's asking, let me just have a look here. Libby asking, should the pain points be displayed in the bullet points? Yes. So, I don't know if I can probably find, I'll show you an example of a post, because I think I put up a post today on my LinkedIn about an event that we're going to do. So I'll use it as an example in just a couple of minutes, and I'll show you that. In fact, let me go to it now. Right. So, on screen, you should be able to see an event here. So, how to write content that converts. That's my headline. Exclamation mark on there. You'll see the information that I've set out on the post, as I spoke earlier, is broken nice and easy. I've got no big chunky paragraphs, because if I do that, I will put people off reading the information. I break it up into a nice single, no more than 2 lines, unless it's bullet points. And so I make it very easy for people to engage with and read. And what you'll see there is when I talk about the pain points is what, let me go down, I'm second guessing myself here. Are the pain points in this one? Content marketing isn't just for social media managers. That is one of the issues we deal with. And we get to the point is that in a lot of companies, they think that that's your job. That's your role in a company, is to do the social media. And if it's not part of your job, then you don't do it. I don't know about your company or your organization, but here at Maverick, every individual, doesn't matter what role that you have, we expect everyone to have a LinkedIn and to use that LinkedIn account to connect with prospects, to invite them to events and target certain groups of people. Because everybody can do that. It probably takes us no more than 10 minutes per day to go in, build up our network with the ideal clients that would come to our event, the sort of target audience we want to reach. We'll send out 30 to 40 invites per day, and then we'll be sending out the invites for the actual event to people who are already in our network. As I said, you can do 1,000 a week. So you could, Monday morning, if your network's 1,000 plus, you do your 1,000 invites, you're done for the week. but that's 1,000 invites that just went out. And you can do that the following week and the following week and the following week. Depending how the lead time is up to your event, you could be talking as 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people that you could be inviting to an event. And if you remember when I said earlier that for a free event, 100 people need to receive your invite for one to attend. So you need to play the numbers a little bit. Many people struggle with content. So many people struggle. This is one of the pain points that we address. And through our LinkedIn training course, this is one of the things that we come up against. People get to understand LinkedIn and how to use LinkedIn and use the platform. But then they say to us, but I just don't know what to post, which is actually why we created a webinar called Create Content That Converts. And we teach people how to do it. And we understand that people struggle with content. If you're somebody who posts constantly and regularly on social media, it doesn't matter what platform it is, I guarantee you've had that morning where you wake up and you just go, brain block, what am I going to post today? I'm struggling today. And then you put yourself under pressure. What am I going to do? We help people understand how to build a strategy, how to prepare ahead of time, how to focus on topics, then how to phrase it and put it together so you deliver information. And so we talk about that pain point of how many people struggle with content, because we want people to go, yeah, that's me. I struggle with the content. I understand the platform. I understand how to get the conversations going, but it's just the repetition of having regular content going out I struggle with. Can you do mass marketing for invites on LinkedIn connections? You can message your first degree connections. So it's free. There's no limits on that. You can send out. Just be careful though, LinkedIn very recently has tightened up on a lot of the practices on the platform because they're looking to rule out the people who just spam all the time. If you're on LinkedIn, you'll probably have experienced the people who connect with you and then send you a sales pitch 5 minutes later, and it's like the size of War and Peace, and you're just not interested. So LinkedIn is looking to rule that out. And the way that they do that is if your message is the same repetitively over and over again, we're talking hundreds of times again, you'll find that what happens is the messaging that those individuals send out suddenly gets blocked. And the receiver has to actually give permission for that information to be delivered to them. And so you don't want that to happen. So what we would say with your first degree connections is, yes, you can send out your 1,000 invites per week, but then you can start messaging your first degree connections and just do 20 or 30 a day. And each week, just change the messaging slightly and cut and paste and do another 20 or 30. And of course, on LinkedIn, you can be very targeted who you're sending those messages to, particularly if you're using Sales Navigator. You can build your list and know who you're sending your messaging to. If you want to find out more about how to use LinkedIn and how to be really effective in communicating and messaging, then please visit the Maverick YouTube channel, and you'll find some of the free training that's available on there that will help you. But talk about, just to go back to Libby's point, talk about the pain points in your post, because people will identify with them. These are real life situations. These are the challenges. These are the problems. These are the struggles that people have. So if you suddenly show up and they see your social media post, or they see on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, where you're talking about that issue and you're saying you have a solution, they are going to come and check you out. They're going to come and check this event out because they need that solution. And so if you're the one talking about it, you're the one that the event that they will come to and listen to, in hope that they're going to get a solution and get rid of that issue. So let me quickly just go in and show you now LinkedIn events. Let me go to our Maverick page and into the event section. Okay, so I'm viewing this. Oh, there we go. We've got an event. So on LinkedIn, you've got your header, you've got an icon, you've got a space for your title. Grow Your Marketing Agency, I think is next week, is coming up next week. So the title is ambiguous. It's not ambiguous at all. It's telling you, grow your marketing agency. That's what it's about. Clear and simple. We'll then have details in here. let me just scroll down. And I'll show you in just a second how easy it is to create an event on LinkedIn. So again, you'll see in there, we are using the 4 points, the 4 whys, why come along, how to get attention of business owners and million-dollar marketing departments, methods of creating comfortable sales conversations, how to avoid prospecting to low-value clients, and how to source paying clients who understand your value. Now, we've not told you how we do that. We're telling you this is what we're going to address. So if you've got the issue of I'm struggling to get the attention of business owners, particularly those million-dollar marketing departments, then we're going to address that. We'll show you how that is done. If you've got the problem of creating that sales conversation that isn't awkward or really, really pushy and puts people off, if you struggle in that area, we're going to address that problem. If you're wondering, how do I grow my marketing agency with people who can pay for our services instead of us having to deal with the low end of the market where we're really struggling and just covering our costs? Again, we'll show you how to avoid that, and how, on that last point, is to sort paying clients who understand your value. That's one of the key things in that webinar. So we're talking about those pain points. We talk about the issues that people face, particularly in this one in the agency world. What are those topics? What are those pain points? What are those challenges? That's what we're going to address. The rest of it fills it out and talks about what a little bit more about the webinar and fills it out. But those 4 main points are what people will hook onto and will make the decision to come or not. So, creating an event. Now, I'm going to mock one up really quickly here. I haven't rehearsed this, so we'll see. So, let me just jump into Maverick. Right, so picking off a header. Really and simple. If you remember earlier I said, if you're going to use a header, make sure it's good and strong, it stands out. Don't just use generic photographs and just put your company name over the top, because you will not stand off the page. Right, let me quickly find something to put on. Let's have a quick look. I'm looking for an old event that we've done. Events, here we go. So let me pick off one. Right, we're using Oxlep tonight, so let me just use theirs as an example. So I put it in there. I got the opportunity to position it. It's not quite, I would actually tailor this one much better than this if I was taking my time, but as I said, I haven't actually prepared for this. So quickly we get the header in. We can put an icon in there, upload an image. Do I have one? There we go. Okay, so I've got that in. I put the title in there. So you come up with your title, whatever it is. As I said, make it a title it says what it is. What's the phrase? It does what it says on the tin. Make it obvious. Don't make it, leave people wondering, what is this event about? The title doesn't tell me. Make it obvious. You then fill in your start date. Let me just push that forward to tomorrow, and then I can cancel this when I'm finished. A start time. Drop that in very quickly. Simple. And then you'd put your description in. So then you start by telling people what this event will do. So particularly in this case, what will this webinar cover? What am I going to do? I then filter down, I talk about the 4 points, and then I'm encouraging people to come along. I might want to put in there some evidence of people who have come to this, or here's a testimonial from people who came to this event last month or 6 months ago. And you evidence what you're doing. You evidence the results, which gets people hooked into, that's what I need, that's what I want, I'm getting myself onto this webinar, I'm coming along to this event. Great thing on LinkedIn is you can tag in speakers. Let me just tag myself in there as an example. Even if you had multiple speakers, you can tag them in and get there. Then you've got the opportunity here, which is to make this private or public. In most cases, there may be some reasons for you to make it private, but make it public. And the reason you make it public is then you've got this opportunity here is to use the LinkedIn registration form. Let me just click into there. Just quickly need to put in the privacy policy, which we've already got set up from our website. And so with the registration form, for everybody who comes along and clicks attend this event on LinkedIn, the beauty is that their name and their email address that they've used to register their account automatically syncs into their registration. It populates it automatically for them, and then you've got that. After the event, you can then download that information and you can email them off platform, and you can continue the conversation from the webinar, which would then lead to future sales. Then you've got the option at the bottom. LinkedIn Live, is that where you want to broadcast? If you've got that facility, you would want to go for it, or an external link. Like this one tonight, this is an external link. I'd go in here, I would have the right YouTube channel, the YouTube broadcast set up and the link, and I put that in there. People register, they see the link, and they can join. It's very simple. So LinkedIn, as a user, I think I'm interested in this event, I see all the information, I decide I'm coming, I click, I want to attend, it pre-populates. I don't need to do it. The only thing that I need to do as a user is actually decide on the tick box, do I want the company who's running this event to contact me outside of this event? You can do the follow-up, but they have to give you permission to communicate about anything else. We find that 75% of people are quite happy for you to get in touch with them. So it's a great way of building your email lists for marketing as well. And so you would then create that event. Now, why is it not letting me create? What have I done? So look, it's because I've gone in there. And so I can create this event. What is missing? I need some information. Let me just throw something in there just to... There we go. So it will now create that event. There we go. It's up and live. It immediately offered me the opportunity to start marketing that event. It's jumping around on me. I'm not going to do that at this moment, so let's get rid of that. But that event, I should see, is there. Test event is up and ready. Now I can go into here and immediately choose, okay, so let's go people in London. It'll now filter that list. I can come along here, let's say industries. I can now start looking at industry, people in the financial services, people in IT, professional and coaching. There we go. And then all I need to do, I literally keep filtering right down to the bottom, keep letting it fill up, keep going and going and going. This is the boring part. You've just got to keep your finger on, keep it going. If you've got infinity scroll on your mouse, it's fantastic. You just click and let it go till it gets to the bottom. Once it's there, and I can keep that going for a while, let's have a quick look. I would select them. There's 129. I can then click and send an invite to them. And that will appear in their inbox on LinkedIn, and they've got an invite. It's as simple as that. And as I said, you can do 1,000 a week as an individual. If there's multiples of you, soon as you've said, yes, I'm coming to the event, you can start inviting as well. And as I say, the illustration, we have 4 members of staff that do this as part of their role. 4,000 invites go out for an event every single week. It's that simple. And so, yes, I want to discard. Let me just come out of there. While I'm here, just let me delete this one out. I'm going to show you now, very quickly, an old event and what the information that you get. So back into events. So if I look at past events, this is an event we did just last night. There we go. It gives me a full list, and I can download the registration, so it will give me first name, last name, and the email address of those individuals. It then gives me another column that says whether they've ticked and allowed me to communicate outside of this event or not. So I can have that full list. I take that list, and as I said, I can repurpose that list, send them follow-up for the event. I'm looking to get conversations, so I make sure my copy and everything really works and sizzles. And then I can, and content for those that have given me permission, I add them to my marketing lists, into my mailing lists, into your CRM or wherever they are, and you can be building your lists week in and week out with events. Now we've got people on some of our programs who very recently been doing this, started out, and they're attracting in 10, 20, 30 people. We had one person started very recently, I think they got 20 or 30 in. Now they've got over 200 registrations for their second event. They're learning the lessons, targeting their audience better. If you put the effort in, you can fill your events quite easily, particularly through LinkedIn. It's a very powerful platform right now for events. The way that you can connect with people and invite them. Not only can you invite directly from the event, you can be doing that through your posting. You can do it through direct messaging to individuals as well. There are methods. I see it was Adrian was saying, so not mass mailing. There is a way, but if you want to know, I'm not going to talk about it on camera. Email us at hi@maverick.co.uk and I'll gladly have that conversation with you. Any questions about events? There's a lot of stuff going on there. Let me just slick back to the slides there. So any Q&A, any questions at all? We've just got a few minutes left. Quite happy to answer any questions. Let me just put that up as well. I encourage you to go and follow Oxlep, who have been sponsoring this tonight. And we're working in conjunction with them. A great organisation. If you're in the Oxfordshire area, I encourage you to get engaged with them, get in touch with them, and see all the free advice and the funding that's available through them. They are a really good organisation. No questions? None at all? You're going to give me an early finish, aren't you? Okay. Doesn't look like there's any questions. So I hope you've got something from tonight. I hope you've got something you can take away and apply. And I hope that what we've shared tonight really helps you to build your events and get more people onto them. Ultimately, what you're looking for, you want to get those conversations going. So I hope you all success with your events in the future. If you want any information and how we can help you in the area of events, then get in touch with us, as I mentioned, hi@maverick.co.uk, and we'd be happy to have a conversation with you and see how we can help. Okay, see you later.